from conventions to grade school lessons, let's face it, our current events right now require us to communicate differently. We're virtual. We're not face-to-face anymore. That's the thing that is dramatically obvious about our world right now, and just how impersonal at times it can be. Susan Robertson is an innovation strategist and a national speaker with the National Speaker Association, and she's no stranger to engaging audiences of all sizes. However, during the first week of Harvard University, students actually learned virtual lessons. Susan joins us this morning. So, Susan, we're talking about how people can make that transition from talking in person to virtually, which is what you're doing right now. Susan, what are you telling them? What do you advise them on how to make the best of this?
Well, what we know from neuroscience is that engagement, which is what we're looking for, is the combination of both attention and emotion. And we have to think about both of those things when we're designing online communication or online learning. So both of those things are equally important.
You know, Susan, a lot of people are just not comfortable being on camera. It's not a normal way, you know, for them to engage other people. So what do you tell them? You know, when I'm on Zoom meetings, a lot of times I'll tell people, you know, before we begin, to identify where the camera is on their device. What are some other things that they can do to kind of make that connection a little more one-to-one?
Well, I tell people to practice quite a lot. So you can get on Zoom by yourself and turn on your camera and practice and get used to looking at yourself in the camera. You can also change the way the screen is configured so that you are not front and center, so you're not looking at yourself. I think that's what a lot of people struggle with because they're looking at themselves the whole time, which isn't true in person. So I think just getting used to seeing yourself on camera through a lot of practice helps quite a lot.
One of the things a lot of people are struggling with as well, too, is how to, you know, make those kind of subtle interpersonal connections when you're really just limited to a video screen. What can you do besides just, you know, staring into the camera the entire time to kind of make the people feel like you have more of a bond than just across over the internet?
Well, there are a few things you can do individually if you're leading the meeting or the presenter of the meeting. And an obvious one that seems really obvious, but people sometimes forget, is to smile. And when someone else is talking, nod your head so they understand that you're listening and hearing them. I actually try to, if I can, stand up, which I'm doing right now, because I think it's a lot easier to appear that you're engaged when you're standing up than when you're sitting down. And it's also important to use people's names. Right. So at the beginning of the meeting, don't simply say, "Welcome, everyone, let's get started." Say something like, "Oh, I see Joe and I see Barb. Thank you for coming. Yeah. Oh, and here's Cliff and Sandra. Let's get started." So just simply using people's names will make them feel a more human connection.
It's a great point, because you're not just talking maybe a group of 10 people. You're talking to 10 individuals at one time.
Exactly.
All right, Susan Robertson, instructor with Harvard University, giving us some tips on interpersonal communication in the age of Zoom. Susan, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
All right, keep it here. We got a lot more for you on Fox 5.